Oh, yeah. What up? 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 And welcome to another week of Journey of a Jackass. And I am your host, Daya Shakur. Now, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that's been supporting this show, the journey, that's been supporting all my new books and everything like that. I told you it's going to be a good year with these books coming out. I've been getting positive feedback for Masters, The Story of Elmer, and the Tearful Joys of Cletus Jean Bucks comes out in 2 weeks. All right. I know I'm running behind. I'm sorry, y'all, but the books are coming out. They're coming out. All right. So summertime, and remember I told y'all this last week, summertime, kids are starting to let out, have a plan for them this summer. Don't let them be out here in the streets, because older people not playing with our kids anymore. And I give y'all examples of that every week. So please, 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 please take care of that. Take care of your kids. Make sure they safe this summer. Send them away to the country or something if you have to, right? So look, tonight I have a relationship guru, a relationship consultant, a relationship expert coming on here. She was a marriage counselor, and she decided that she wanted to delve into single dating. And tonight, y'all know I never talk about dating on this show unless it's one of my stories and stuff like that. But I actually have a relationship consultant on the show tonight. This is her actual expertise. So, you know, I've been in a ton of relationships, right? So before we get to Miss Alisa Snell, story time with me. All right, so she's on here to talk to us about relationships and how to build and have healthy relationships, right? So let me tell you a story about a relationship that I thought was healthy, right? Should have never been in it in the first place. Story time with me. So I was in the army, lonely, by myself, you know, out playing in the streets and stuff like that, having a good time with all the girls that I could. But even then, I still had a hole that needed to be filled. I wanted to be with one woman, right? So I said, man, forget this. I'm going to find that one woman, okay? So with me finding that one woman, I tried to do online dating. I tried dating girls that was in my unit. I was dating Army girls. I started dating local girls around where I was stationed at. That was all right. All of that was okay. It was cool, right? It was more fun than anything for me. That's all I would say. It was more physical than emotional, right? So one day I get a random email on my AKO, my Army.mil email. And it's from one of my friends' wife, right? I always thought she was attractive, stuff like that. You know, it is what it is. And I was like, man, how you and my dog doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So she said, well, you know, we're not together no more. I'm like, what? Y'all not together? I'm sorry to hear that. Like, yeah, we broke up. I'm pregnant right now. You know what I'm saying? We broke up. And yeah, I'm just out here. I said, where you at now? She said, I'm in Orlando. I said, well, I'm upstate New York, right? She's like, oh, okay. She's like, well, maybe you should come down here and visit Orlando so we can hang out. I said, what I'm coming down there for? You know what I'm saying? I didn't want them to cross no lines or nothing like that, right? So, she was pregnant, but she hid the pregnancy from me until I got down there. I'll reset that part because that's what really happened. So I said, okay, look. I said, okay, yeah, I come down there, I hang out and all that stuff. I said, let me look for a hotel and a flight. She said, don't worry about neither. You can come and you can just stay with me. You can sleep on the sofa. I said, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? So we started talking back and forth on the email. Then we exchanged phone numbers. I said, okay, cool. I said, yeah, man, I don't want you know, my homeboy thinking anything crazy, stuff like that. So like, don't worry about it, just come. So we get down there and everything. We started talking. We went out to eat. I met her twin sister. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Her twin sister was fine as hell too. They look just like identical twins. I was like, okay, cool. So we get to hanging out and everything. And before I leave, she comes and tries to sleep on the sofa with me. I said, what are you doing? You know, blah, blah, blah. We shouldn't be doing this. So one thing led to another. I got me some pregnant punani. So anyway, so after that, we started talking on the phone every day. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Then she said, well, I'm going to come up here and visit you. I said, okay, cool. I was like, damn, I finally found somebody, but it's my friend's ex-wife. I was like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. So she come up there, she visit and everything. And it felt really, really good. I'm not going to lie. The time we spent together, all the time we was hanging out, all that stuff, like it felt really, really good. Like I was like, man, okay, this is what's up right here. So we started going back and forth down there. This went on for like 5-6 months. It felt good. Good to go. So I said, hey, we started getting serious. Like I known it for a while, but we started getting serious. So I said, look, man, forget all this. Let's just move up here. So she picked up and moved up to me. So I was like, okay, cool. This feel good. We living together. You know what I'm saying? Everything is nice, sweet. We get buying furniture together. We buying, you know what I'm saying? All sorts of stuff together. So one day, it just turned. She started drinking. I'm like, ain't you pregnant? You know, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah, but I'll be all right. Started drinking Patron. Next thing you know, I'm laying in the room. And it still felt good. Sleep. Pop out. I get 2 pieces in the face. Like, hey, what's going on? What did I do? What's going on? But it still felt good because I cared about it. Stuff like that. I was like, why did you punch me? She said, I don't know, because I think you out here doing something. I'm like, no, I ain't out here doing nothing. Right? So little did I found out, I talked to my friend. I said, hey, man, you know me, I'm messing with your ex-wife. So I had to break down to him and tell him whatever it could be. He said, man, you're about to find out that she's crazy. She's violent. That's why we split up. I was like, okay, cool. So it started getting worse and worse and worse. It got to the point that I started sleeping in my truck because I thought she was going to try to kill me in my sleep. But I didn't care because I cared for her. I know this ain't healthy, but I was like, nah. It got to a point that I was ready to go to Afghanistan. And it was like, man, I would rather go to Afghanistan and fight war than sit here keep dealing with this, right? Because she refused to leave. I said, why don't you just go back down there? So it got worse after she had the baby. After she had the baby, the drinking turned up, like the violence turned up. All this. I said, nah, I can't deal with this no more. But I didn't want to kick her out because I really started caring for her. Wasn't healthy, wasn't safe, wasn't none of this. So she said, well, we need to get married. If you don't marry me, then I'm going to find somebody else to marry me. I was like, go ahead, leave, right? So she didn't leave. So we moved to a bigger place. We moved from a 1-bedroom to a 3-bedroom. We got a bigger place and all that stuff. New furniture, washer dryer. Like I'm talking about like big TVs all over the place and everything. Like we was good to go, right? So I said, well, baby, I'm about to deploy. She said, well, we need to get married or you got to put me on something, so a power attorney so I can handle business. I said, okay, cool. So I never did the power attorney. I just left. My fault. So she was in there. Both our names was on the lease. I was like this. I found out that she was cheating while I was gone and all that stuff. So I stopped sending money home, right? Do you know while I was gone, she got arrested for beating somebody up, a dude that she was messing with, right? I come back home to see what's going on. She left the place, trashed the place, took all the stuff that I bought, rolled out. And then when I called her, I said, hey, man, what's going on? Why did you take my stuff? She had the nerve to come back up there to see me just so she could puff me in the mouth and leave. Now, I wound up getting her arrested. I don't know where she is now, but that relationship wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for her. And she's married now, and she's been in and out of jail because she's whooping the dude ass she's dealing with now. I hope she's getting the help that she needed, because she wasn't healthy for me. She wasn't healthy for her. She wasn't healthy for that baby. She wasn't healthy for nobody. And I really, really hope she gets the help that she needs. And that's story time with me. That was one of my failed relationships. That was a quick, short synopsis of a failed relationship that I had. I should have been messing with her in the first place, but I chose to. All the billions of women on the planet, we are outnumbered. Men are outnumbered 3-1, especially here in the DC area, right? In the Army, not as much, but we're outnumbered. And I had to talk to one of my friends' abusive ex-wives. That's what I get. Wherever she's at, that's what she get. I hope she's living a great life. And that's story time with me. Now, so now look, I could have avoided this situation if I had a relationship consultant in my life. If I had somebody to tell me the ins and outs. Now, I mean, I got standards and boundaries now. I don't let women raise their voice at me. If you put your hands on me, it's over with, stuff like that. And that was the only time I was in a relationship that was abusive. I was like, man, she beating on me like we fighting. I'm like, man, and I never hit her back. I just leave because I didn't know what was going on. Like she just snapped. But anyway, I wish I had some kind of consultant in my life to say, hey, that's not okay, right? Hence, and dating has been sucking ever since then. It's been day after day after day. It's been a couple good ones along the road, but dating has been sucking ever since. I think it's been, and we're going to get into that tonight. So coming to the stage, relationship consultant, Miss Alisa Snell.
Hello. Oh, I am so sorry to hear that story, but you know what? It is so common. And honestly, getting a little vulnerable on my end too. So I got married at the age of, so I became a marriage and family therapist by the age of 24 because I never wanted to get divorced. And I really thought if I knew all the right things to do, I would be able to, have lasting love. I would never get divorced. So I married at 25, I had my son at 27, and I went through a painful, devastating divorce at 28. A lot of the same things you described, like, serious betrayal, serious like control issues and all of those kinds of things. And so I totally can relate to it. Until you've gone through a toxic relationship with somebody who is personality disordered, you
Yep.
have no idea what it's like. There's this secret club that you join when you finally get out of an abusive or manipulative relationship like that, because you can just, other people, you can relate to them now in ways that people who haven't been through that kind of trauma, they minimize it and they just don't see it. But
Because they
when
don't
you've been with a
understand it.
massive manipulator, like you know what it's like to have been there, and the fear of ever getting back into that again. Like, it was infinitely better to be happily single than miserably married. And that's a big part of the reason why I became passionate for singles issues, was because I was a single mom and I needed to make sure I wasn't going to get back into something just as bad or worse, because my son's quality of life depended on it.
And now,
So
I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because after that, I didn't get in. There were more toxic relationships, but they were toxic in different ways. If that makes sense, because
yeah,
there are different levels to this toxic. We got the physical abuse right here at the top. Of course, that's at the top. But then
yeah,
there's that big window of emotional abuse. And I hate to say it,
control. Yeah.
control, all that stuff. And I hate to say it, this day and age, the women are more savage than the men. Way more
It's
savage than the men.
it's so interesting how much men are seen as the abusers, but women are just so much more um, masked in the way they do it, right?
Yep.
The verbal abuse, the control, the manipulation. And there have been a lot more stories in our area of women killing their husbands.
Yep.
There's been a lot more of that. But back in the day, like, if a man was being abused, he didn't get support. He got
Yep.
laughed at,
That's right. That's right.
and I love working with singles and trying to help them to have that next story, that next adventure in their life, and to create lasting love. And my website is Lasting Love Academy, and my whole program is based on that. I remarried, so I was single for about 4 years, but I was still, before that, I was still doing marriage and family therapy.
Okay.
So infidelity and addictions and sexual addictions and drug and alcohol addictions and abusive relationships and financially unfaithful relationships, there's a common denominator. So the reality is that the ones that got better, there were three things that they always did. And the
Uh-huh.
ones that were toxic, manipulative, I might as well have just had them write me a check, because all they were asking me to do was watch the train wreck happen. Like, they weren't really changing, they weren't really going to change. And the ones that never got better, three things that spell them out. And the most important thing is I had to be careful about my tendencies now,
Yep.
because I recognized that I liked people and I liked to look for the best in people, and I
And
liked
so
being
that was,
caring.
now I'm gonna tell you, when I was going through when I was separated from my ex-wife, because I'm divorced too. When I separated from my ex-wife, when we tried marriage counseling, and that's what the counselor was making a mistake at, trying to find the best. And she's like, yeah, well, this is what's going on. I'm like, no, but you're not really helping us address the issues that we got, because communication was a problem,
Yeah.
seeing each other was a problem, things of that nature. So, but like, they was trying to, like, well, because we had a dude and we had a female, and they was both trying to do the same thing. I'm like, no, I mean, give us an outline, give us something to follow, give us a structure to follow, things like that. Now, before we get into the weeds of this, right? Tell the people who you are.
Okay.
We already jumped straight into it. Tell the
Right,
people
right.
who you are.
So my name is Alisa Snell, and the Lasting Love Academy is my website, Lasting Love Academy. But what happened is I remarried. So my original theory, I'll give you like a quick 5-minute rundown. My original theory, as I was single, was that the three things that were lacking in those who were toxic, potentially abusive, manipulative, dishonest, unfaithful, who are going to betray. There's three common things. They lack empathy.
Yep.
The nice thing about this is you can see this on a first date. You can see this within the first 3 dates. They lack empathy. So you've got to be tuned into what are the signs that somebody would lack empathy, so you can pick up on it. Because my tendency to see the best in people and like people and want to trust people couldn't be trusted. I needed to have something logical that would force me to have to see the facts for what they were and
Mhm.
make a decision in the first 3 dates or less. That was the goal, 3 dates or less.
Hey,
The second thing, uh-huh.
it's funny that you say that, though, because I mean, I was suffering from PTSD at the time, whatever case may be.
Mhm.
But all the women that I dated said the same thing, that, like, it's like I had empathy, but I was cold. I was cold. Like, it was like you just, like, you didn't care about anything. Like, if one of them say, "Well, I don't want to be with you anymore," you just be like, "Okay, well,
Well, you were emotionally disengaged,
yep,
right? So
mm-hmm,
there's 6 things for lasting love,
yep,
3 things for safety, and 6 for lasting love. So the 3 things for safety are empathy, personal responsibility,
yep."
right? So if you're in the first few dates and they're blaming everybody else and they're the victim and everybody done them wrong, and they
I
talk about
can't.
stories that
I
don't make
can't
any
stand.
sense.
Listen,
Yeah.
I cannot stand small talk. Kills me. Like, if you talk to me about something of substance, or don't talk to me at all. Like,
Mhm.
I do that on the first dates. Now, when I start having conversations, they I'm not saying I don't know how it is to date men, but I know I went on dates with a lot of pretty women that just dumb as a block of rocks. Can't
Mm.
hold a conversation with nothing at
Okay.
all. Yeah.
Yeah. But the challenge is, and see, this is my problem. I became a counselor so early in life that I was good at digging in deep. I was good at talking about things deep. I was good at dealing with it. But then you become other people's therapist too,
Yeah.
right? There's this delicate balance. And so the first thing is you got to look for empathy. The second is personal responsibility. So if they lack empathy, they lack personal responsibility in the stories they're telling, the way they're talking about the things that have gone wrong in their life. And then the third one is if they have a pattern of a lack of self-control. Now, typically, people who are
Mm.
prideful about their self control problems, they're going to reveal it. They're going to talk about their stories. They're going to laugh. They're going to say all sorts of things that you're like, whoa, like that's actually cruel, or whoa, like that's really out of control. People who have had some challenges in their life, there's going to be a sense of humility or growth behind it, right?
And,
They're not
and,
going to
and,
just be bragging about it.
and that's the truth, because even on my show, when I tell my story times, a lot of my stories are literally about lack of self-control.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
things that I went through in my life that I had to grow away from, do
Yeah.
therapy for, things like that, is lack of self-control. And I was
It,
like, man, temptation, being fiscally irresponsible, things like that. Yeah.
But love bombers love that. They get you in, they get you overwhelmed with their love and their positive affirmations, and they make you feel great. They're so good at manipulating your emotions before you can have a chance. So, in my story with my first husband, I'm on my second marriage. We've been married for 23 years, and he's such a different kind of guy, right? Like he's just a totally different kind of guy. But my first husband, I know. So my first husband, he just came on so strong, and he just love bombed me and said all the right things and made me feel all those amazing emotions, all the commitment, so that I couldn't see the truth before I didn't have enough time to see the truth before I was already too hooked.
Yep.
And sadly, that's continued on with multiple wives after me.
Yep.
But the point is empathy, self-control, personal responsibility. That's the three-legged stool you want to look for. And so everyone's done something they're not proud of. That's not what I'm really concerned about. I'm concerned about how they handled it.
Yep.
I'm concerned about whether or not they see it from the other person's perspective. I'm concerned about whether or not they admit where they were wrong and they take action to create change, and whether or not they sustained that change.
Yep.
That's what we want to look at, not perfection, but that progression. So the
Yes.
other three things that you mentioned, right? So to create a secure attachment, this comes from, oh my goodness, I'm going to forget her name, but it's the book called Hold Me Tight. And it's about helping people to create a secure attachment. But the three things that create that are being available, being responsive, and being emotionally engaged.
And now, I'm glad you brought up those three things, right? So what I've been running into, and then I'm sure a lot of other people have been running to this too. They like, for instance, a woman or will exchange numbers, or people will exchange numbers, and then when you start talking to them, oh, I got the kids going, this, I don't have the time, or they suck at communication. Like, DC is the ghosted capital of the world. Somebody give you their phone number and you would never hear from them again. So it's like I don't understand it. Like, why even give your number out in the first place?
Well, the problem is there's still a realm of normal. And this is the thing I struggled with after my divorce, is I knew what it was like to date jerks. I didn't know what it was like to date normal guys. And what I didn't realize is I was so in my early 20s, I was so accommodating. I was so positive and warm or neutral or safe that I was either boring or not interesting to them. So I had to kind of learn how to attract the right kind of guys. And so the right kind of guys, if they do have empathy and they do have self-control and they do have personal responsibility, they're willing to be available, they're willing to be responsive and emotionally engaged. And that means the women too, the right people. They're not going to respond immediately because they have too much going on in their lives. They've got jobs, they've got family, they've got life. So what's this reasonable response time and engagement that's not love bombing, but is somebody who's willing to do the real work? So I refer to that as being on your A list or your B list. So we have A list response time, B list response time. Both are respectful. One's more excited.
Yeah.
A-listers are more responsive. So let me ask you this. What is the amount of response time that you feel like you want from a woman so that you know she's interested? You send a text. How long before she responds and you'll know she's interested?
So I can tell you right now. So me, like, I usually wait like a day or so before I text, like, hey, how you doing? This is so to see if they remember who I am.
Right. Not too over anxious. You wait a day.
Yeah, wait a day or so. Like, hey, how you doing? This is who I am. You remember me? Right? And they be like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Now, we live in this is not the 90s no more. This is the early 2000s. People live with their phone in their hands. So if I text you good morning at 8 o'clock in the morning and I don't hear nothing from you till noon the next day, there's no interest in. I'm like, you automatically get put in the pile with the rest of the women.
Okay, like, you want self-control though. You want someone who's got self-control. You want someone who is responsible and has a job. And you want somebody who's available and responsive to you. So honestly, A-list, if somebody responds within 2 hours, you're on their A-list.
Yep.
If they respond by the end of the day, you're still on their A-list because they still fit you in. If they're a busy, responsible person or they have kids, they still fit you in. If they respond the next day, like a 24-hour window, because if you send a message at night and you don't respond to the next day, you still could be,
that's fine.
In the morning, it could be A-list.
Yeah, that's fine.
If they respond the next day, you're on the B list. The thing about the B list is that people want so much to know if you're into them right away. But sometimes your B-listers are your best options because they become your A-listers. They're more solid. Like chemistry can blind us. So when somebody's immediately responding and available, sometimes that's because they have so little going on right in their world that
Mhm.
you're going to solve all of their problems.
So now I'm gonna tell you what's crazy about that. So I have my reservations about that, right? Because I'm a very, very busy person. I work a 9 to 5.
And
You know
you'll
what I'm
fit
saying?
it in.
Yeah, I fit it in. So my thing is, so like I said, I work my 9 to 5. I write books. I do my shows. I do a sports show on Mondays. I do planning, scheduling. I do community events. I'm out selling my books. I'm doing everything. But I will always find time to respond. If I do not find time to respond, I'm not interested.
2 days. I'm going to ask you to do something for me. 2 days.
Yep.
Allow 2 days, because I'm telling you, a good quality woman isn't
Uh-huh.
going to let you go more than 2 days without a good excuse.
Yep.
And she might just surprise you because she wasn't as responsive and available, but that's because she's got so much good quality going on. Now, the big challenge is I work with both men and women. As a matter of fact, I started off as a marriage and family therapist, and as a counselor, you get like 1/3 males and
Uh-huh.
2/3 women. But in
Yep.
coaching, 60% of my clients are men. Like, men care about relationships. They want to improve. I love working with men because if I tell them something, they'll listen and they'll
Mm-hmm.
apply it. Whereas with women, sometimes like they're sometimes less willing to admit that the problem could be them. But the guys, they're like, yeah, it could be me.
Listen,
Right.
because
So
no, so men, we understand accountability. That's another thing that I keep running to this with women too out here. They don't understand accountability. As soon as you hold them accountable, you're toxic. You're this. You're a narcissist. Blah blah blah. But you were wrong. And then I ask women. I say, tell me the definition of a narcissist. And then I like, go on your definition and read it. They read it. I say, you just described yourself.
no, it's so hard. And you can't reason with people who are personality disordered. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like, and I might get some hate on some of this just because I don't like
Yep,
making too many global statements, but it's really hard not to do that when we're talking to a bigger audience. But women are great. Like, a large percentage of my clients are women, of course, and then
yep.
they're marrying the men that I'm working with. So I don't want to be too negative on them, but I do not like working with any man or woman who can't take responsibility, who can't accept
Facts.
feedback, who won't admit when they're wrong. Like, I don't want to just sit and watch a train wreck. Either let's work together and make a difference. I'm going to ask you to, there's a couple of things. Men and women are different.
Yep,
Chemistry is really important to men. Physical attraction is really important to men.
yep.
And the problem is a toxic woman uses that, right? A
Yes.
healthy woman isn't. So a healthy woman, you're going to have to, if you are looking for a woman with empathy, self-control, and personal responsibility, you're going to need to be patient to see that flower blossom in front of you,
Yep.
because the toxic women are the first thing there. They're going to grab your attention. And it's those women with that empathy, the ones that are, they're going to get to the things that need to be done, but they don't throw everyone else to the
Mhm.
side because they got a new guy,
Yep.
right? They still have work, they still have family, they still have their kids, they still have other responsibilities. And they'll slowly build faith and trust in you and
Uh-huh.
put you more and more into their lives. It's just dating differently. When you're dating a potentially loving woman who's mature, and you're dating I hate using the term good man because men are good.
Yep.
So there's jerks and there's men, right?
Yep.
But when you're dating women, those loving women, and then you've got the ones with the disorders,
Uh-huh.
and you're dating men, those good men, and you got the jerks, it's going to be a slower process because
Mhm.
they aren't trying to love bomb you. And they're going to be resistant and cautious of anyone who's going to love bomb them, or anyone who's going to be without understanding of the fact that they have full lives. They're going to
Yep.
want people who are balanced. So what I would encourage you to do, wait 2 days. See,
Mhm.
after you text, do you get a response within 2 days? Again, 24 hours, you're on the B list. Hey, that's okay. You
Yep.
might move to the A list. You might only feel like she's on the B list.
Now, and
So
so I understand, but I understand you dealing with single people and stuff like that. But I'm gonna tell you, they're they're out here in 2026. There are women out here dating to dine. That's it. That's all they want.
date,
Dating
dating
to dine.
to
Meaning,
dine.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, dating to dine. Right. That's it.
okay.
They out here to get a meal out of somebody, get a little excitement, and then that'll be that. Right. That's a big problem. And then social media has everybody out here thinking they deserve something that they're not entitled to, that they don't
Yeah.
deserve. Social media has created a delusion out here in this world that everybody is owed something, or they have
Mhm.
to have a certain thing. So what are your takes on social media and dating? Because I know that affects some of your clients.
So I'm really passionate about what I teach. I've been doing this 30 years, right? So I've written books. I've got a book coming out, single. It's not you, it's your technique. It's coming out June 15th for men, a book for men and a book for women.
Talk
Now,
about it.
this book has been around for 11 years. It's been
Mhm.
around. No, 14 years. 14 years. Every 7 years I update it. Now I'm finally updating it and releasing it on Amazon. It's been for private sale to clients. But the thing is, men are passionate about their relationships and they want to be with a woman who's passionate about her relationship, but we have very different personalities out there.
Yeah.
And I'm very willing to be on TV and radio, and I've done that for decades, but I am not somebody who cares to be on social media. I don't care. I'm not that extroverted in those regards. I'm passionate about what I do. When it comes to people who have more self-control, and I'm not saying that people who are on social media don't, I'm just saying when it comes to people who have that empathy, that self-control, they're building their lives in all of these important places. They're not posting on social media. They're not talking about their dating experiences. The number one need of
Yep.
a woman on a date is to feel safe and secure. She doesn't need your food. She doesn't need to be taken out. And guys, when they say, it's just for the food, it's just for the date, you know what? If the woman is treating you that way, I'm really sorry. But there are so many women out there who will offer to help pay for for the popcorn that goes with the movie, or will say, hey, you pay for the last one. I'd love to pay for this one. There's so
Mhm.
many women who are willing to participate, and they
Mhm.
don't feel entitled and they don't feel like they deserve. And they're not going to make it. If they were to post something, they're not going to get millions of views
Yep.
because it's not sensational. So understanding what these men and these women look like, and how they interact, and why a relationship with them can be just as passionate and more safe and more comfortable. I'd really like to talk about the number one need of men and the number one need of women. So we can talk about, like, how do we set a good foundation to change these patterns? But we've got plenty of things to talk about.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do want to
Yeah.
say that this is about a woman feeling safe more than your food. And the women who are really worth it, they could buy their own lunch.
Yeah.
They're
Well, no,
they're
that
wanting a good
now
connection.
that's very true. I mean, but I mean, like I said, I've been out here, I've been dating, and I've been doing these things, and there are definitely more takers than givers. There's definitely the balance is off. The scales are off. I can tell you.
Well, it depends on the women you're going for. Your picker is partially the problem. My picker was the problem. That's
Yep.
why I couldn't trust myself in the first 3 dates. I had to have a system. And this
Uh-huh.
is the 4 steps to the system. One, know the red flags. Know the red
Yep.
flags of a lack of empathy, lack of self-control, lack of personal responsibility. Number two, I needed to express a feeling, need, and opinion, or say no. Could be about any little thing, to
Uh-huh.
see if they could handle it. Because the number one thing that pushes empathy or a lack of empathy to the front is how they respond when you express a feeling, need, opinion, or say no.
Yep.
The third thing is I needed to tell a trusted friend or family member every detail of the date. And the fourth thing, so that they would help me to see what I couldn't see by this love bombing,
Mhm.
charismatic, good looking guy. The fourth thing is I needed to learn to trust my gut.
So is it a bad thing if somebody tells me no, I never ask again? Uh
It went
oh.
to my car. There we
Okay.
go. I got
Oh.
you back. Okay.
Okay. So is it a
Is it a
bad thing
bad thing if someone
if someone tells me no and I never ask again?
and you're never, if you lost interest for other reasons, right? Like, yeah. I mean, I don't know that we're talking about sex, right? If we're talking about sex, it's a
Like
different thing.
I'm a period. Like if anything, I'm like, oh no, okay, well maybe next time.
Well, I think the challenge is that you're concerned that this could be a selfish individual, or this
Yep.
could be somebody who is a rejecting individual. You
Yep.
want that person to see your perspective. You want them to be invested. So the challenge is to understand where they're coming from. So when it comes to boundaries, I'll give you a good example of this. My husband and I, we were dating, and before we met, actually, he called me, and a guy right before him on a phone call, because I met from dating websites with my husband 23 years ago. But the guy right before him, I'd been on a phone call with. The
Y'all
guy
hold
really
on.
made me
Y'all was
uncomfortable. He
on.
was
Hold
really
on.
pushy.
Y'all was on Yahoo Messenger 23 years ago. Hold on.
Well, no, it was just on, did I say Yahoo? I meant online. I was doing
Oh.
a dating online website.
Okay.
And so anyway, so we met, and this guy was just made me really uncomfortable. So I was on the phone call with my husband shortly after that, first phone call, and I
Mhm.
said, this guy said this and this to me, and it really made me uncomfortable. And he says, well, you're probably wise. Now, for me, I'd had not experienced a lot of validation in dating early on, it really felt comforting to me that I expressed an opinion. And he's like, "You're probably wise." And
Hmm.
then when we had been going on a date and we were getting really comfortable and the chemistry was just so immediate, I felt so comfortable with him. And then I said, I'm probably going to be a slow mover in terms of getting committed or any kind of physical contact because I've got to make sure I keep my head, on straight. And he just said, "Hey, good to know." And I knew he wasn't going to push it. I knew he wasn't. He was so charming. I was touching him. I was interacting with him. I was so comfortable with him. But I
Uh-huh.
knew he wasn't going to kiss me until I was ready. To be able to say no and have a guy respond in a way that made me feel safe, that's what we women want. I'd love to hear people's comments on that. To
Yeah.
know that we're safe enough and a guy's strong enough that he can handle no. So yes, I think if I see it from your perspective, you're not coming from a bad place,
Yeah.
right? That's what empathy is to see it from your perspective. You're coming from a place that's like, hey, is this woman actually going to care about my feelings? Is this woman actually going to be invested in me? So when
Yep.
she says no, it sends up some red flags. But people can't truly say yes till they say no. And
Yep.
so, by showing that you can handle no is going to make you even more attractive to women because the number one need of a woman is to feel safe and secure. On the flip side, the number one need of a man is to feel that a woman has faith and trust in him.
And the physical intimacy, baby. Got to be the physical
Okay, well,
intimacy.
yes, the
It got
physical
to be the,
matters.
it got to be the
Hey,
physical intimacy.
did you have a good sexual relationship with your former spouse?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was
Yeah.
awesome. Yep.
Was it
Yeah.
enough to keep you?
Well, no, because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Mhm.
Well, I was in the army. I was in the army, and I was traveling around the world. She stayed in Maryland. We wasn't seeing each other enough. So I think, and I've said this before multiple times. I think if she had moved around the army with me, we would have had more than one kid. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we'd still be married, but the marriage would have lasted longer than 8 years. You know what I'm saying? Because we would have actually been in each other's face to work through things. If
If
that
you'd
makes
been
sense.
home.
Yeah.
But it's not the case with her current husband. What is she doing with her current husband? I think you're
I,
taking too much responsibility for that because I don't think she had enough empathy to stop and think about what she was saying or what she was doing before she did it because she
mhm.
cared enough about you to think about it before she did it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You can't take somebody who doesn't have empathy and they have
Mhm.
empathy. We got to
Mhm.
find people who have empathy.
Yeah. And, well, I've dated women that were like that too. Like for instance, this one is a sexual experience. I was dating a woman, and you know things were good to go and stuff like that. And then one day, um, I was trying to be intimate with her, trying to get me a little bit. You know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about?
Yeah,
And
showing her you like her. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So she just told me no for no reason. We had already been dating for like a year and a half. She just told me no for no reason.
Oh,
And
okay.
I said, I asked why. I said, why not? She said, just because I said no. I said, okay, cool. So 4 months went by, I didn't ask again.
Hmm.
And the only time we had sex or anything like that is when she she started it. What I'm getting at. I never initiated sex no more after that. And then she asked me why. And I was like, because you told me no. And you didn't tell me why.
Mm, okay.
So yeah. So I'm like,
Yeah.
nah.
Well, I mean, how did you feel after she started initiating? Did you feel better?
I mean, yeah, sometimes you want to go take advantage, and she in the shower. I'm trying to go in and get that shower. You know what I'm saying? There's things
Yeah.
she was sitting out there looking good. And I just want to pick her up and sit her on the counter. You know what I'm saying? But I refrain from all those things. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
that's hard because I saw that with my marriage and family therapy clients too,
Uh-huh.
where, a woman shuts a guy down and then the guy wants the woman to come back to him. And that's fine if maybe the next time she comes back. But at some point, we've got to get back to that healthy place where
Yep.
he's pursuing. And because otherwise it becomes kind of a punishment. A woman has to say no, a man has to say no to freely say yes. And,
Look,
those are
Alisa,
patterns that we
Alisa,
get better at.
I never say no.
Well, if she initiated, you went for it, right? If she
I went for it.
initiated,
All in,
right, right.
all in.
But she wants to feel wanted too. She wants to feel wanted, and you're a good man. This is the big secret for women. If I could tell a woman, "Hey, how do you work with a guy? How do you help a guy to have a better like understanding of women, but then also working in a way that shows a good understanding for the guy?" And I really know from my work. I'm sorry, my voice here.
It's okay.
I really
I
know from my work
mhm,
that it's about showing faith and trust in him and his goodness. So
mhm,
if a woman comes to you and she says, "Hey, I know this happened the other day, And I said no, and it was confusing to you. And you're a good man and you didn't push it. You
Mhm.
respected it.
I'm like,
But it
okay.
probably hurt. It probably hurt. You're a good man.
Mhm.
And let me explain where I was coming from. But if a woman comes to you and she shows that she has faith in you and she sees you and she sees your efforts, she sees your goodness, is it easier for you to feel ready to hear what was going on with her because you already feel seen? What do you think?
Yeah, no, yeah, it does. Like I'm so one of the things that I failed at before in a lot of my past relationships was having an attentive ear, sitting
Mhm,
down and actually listening out. So I've been working on that, being an effective communicator and having an
mhm.
attentive ear, actually sitting down and listen to the problems. So one chick that I was dating, she told me, she's like, I know everything about you. We had just started dating. We only been talking for like 2 or 3 weeks. She's like, I know everything about you, but you don't know nothing about me. You don't ask any questions. Like
But
you,
guys don't ask so many questions.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to explain that to her. I said, but I've been listening to everything you said. I can tell you your kids' names. I can tell you,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, your birthday. I can
Yeah.
tell you all the things that I feel like are important. But and I can tell you how your work days went, what you do for a living, things like
Good for
that.
you.
Yeah. So, but
Did
I
that
have
make
an
a
attentive
difference?
ear.
Did she believe you when you said
She,
that?
when I started telling her everything, she believed it. But she said that she felt overshadowed by me by my sharing.
Okay, so let me comment on that real quick. So my goal is to
Uh-huh.
build bridges between men and women because if you build on empathy, you see
Yep.
you're more alike, right?
Yep.
So the challenge is you were listening and you did care, but a guy doesn't pry and a guy doesn't sit and pick and try to get all the details. Hey, he'll share it with me when he's ready. So let me give you an example. Let's say my husband's in the garage and he
Uh-huh.
hurts himself and he throws his wrench across the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a guy would be like, hey, give him some space. He just needs, he just needs to cool off. He got hurt, give him some space. A woman would be like, oh, what happened? Can I get you a bandage? What do you need? Blah, 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 blah. That
Yep.
would annoy my husband because I'm
Yep.
hovering over and he wants his space. But the same thing happens. A woman gets upset. She gets her feelings hurt. The guy's like, give her some space. Give her some space. She'll figure it out. She'll come to me when she's ready. And the woman
Yep.
wants him to come to her and say, what's going on? Like, what do you mean? Tell me more. She wants him to ask more questions. So I want to build bridges because we're both coming from a good place. We just do it differently.
Uh-huh.
So, I just think, it's unfortunate. Did it work out with her? She said
Oh
she didn't
no.
think you were,
No, she said
yeah.
and she just called me. She just called me and said, I don't think it's gonna work. I didn't ask why. I just said okay and hung up.
Yep, yep, yep. Hey, give her her space. Give her her space.
I said okay and
Yeah,
hung up.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm always like that. I don't let things. I'm one of those people that understand that they're more fish in the sea. So it's like I don't want to be out here throwing the reel
yeah,
in the water forever. But um, I'm not gonna sit around and deal with something that I don't have to deal with when I can weigh my options in other places.
yeah.
And
But
I,
let
and,
me ask
and
you about, yeah. Let
I
me
think
ask about this
I'm
though.
saying I think that because I know there's so many options available that I don't, and it's one of the things that I have been working on that I don't have the patience for a lot of things. Like if you violate my
Yeah,
standards, boundaries, you're like disrespect and all stuff. I don't deal with none of that stuff when I know I can go somewhere else and find better. Even
yeah,
though the grass is not greener on the other side of the fence all the time,
yeah,
but I will go over there and play, and I will go play in the
because it
dirt.
feels safer. It
Yeah,
feels
yeah,
safer.
yeah,
Yeah. I think part of it though too is it's a matter of knowing how to connect. Because
yeah,
have you ever been in a relationship with someone and you guys have gotten on the other side of the issue and you're like you feel even closer and better and it's funner and you worked it out? Like
yeah,
that's what I want to do. So I just want to help you get on the other side of that issue. And what that looks like for a woman is you pursue her. So
yeah,
in attachment theory, the problem is we have this pattern of being avoidant and we have
yeah.
this pattern of being anxious. And the anxious looks like it's needy and clingy and it's pursuing you and it wants to talk and it wants to solve problems or maybe she doesn't even talk about things because she's trying to do everything perfect and so
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't share her feelings, but that's the anxious side. And then the avoidant side, when things get hard, they withdraw, they disconnect, they shut down. But there's a space in the middle where secure attachment happens. And
Mm-hmm.
the secure attachment has to be that you stay emotionally available. So it's not you, it's your technique. So when you pull away and you're like, all right, I'll find someone else, she feels like you're abandoning her.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I
So
know. I know.
instead,
I never physically said it. I just show with my actions. The
yeah,
text slow down, phone calls slow down. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So yeah, I never physically said
but she
then.
feels abandoned. She
Yep.
feels punished or she
Yep.
feels misunderstood. So if you could instead say something like, hey, I'm trying to see where you're coming from. It's hard for me to do that when you're yelling at me or you're accusing me of things, but I'm trying. I'm trying to see where you're coming from.
Uh-huh.
And here's where I'm coming from. Like when you say those things, I feel attacked. I feel misunderstood, and I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
How could you see yourself saying something like that?
Yeah. I do it all the time. I understand when I'm in the wrong, I'm in the wrong. It took me a long time to get to that point, though. Sometimes I'm like, man, forget this. Now I just leave. Now
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I sit there and I listen. I'm like, hey, okay. Because I'm working on, I've been working on for a long time, getting over the heartless feeling, the heartless thing. I'd be like, well, all right, if you say you about to leave, wave. And I just,
But there's a fear underneath that. There's a fear. What's the fear? Fear of being rejected, fear of not being good enough, fear of wasting your time. What would you say is the fear?
yeah, well, wasting my time because
Hmm.
I'm statistically, I'm on a halfway through life. Why I'm gonna sit around and play games with you when
Hmm.
I can move forward and find somebody else that just gonna get over me and gonna be with me when my wang ain't working no more. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, but as long as there's this bridge of misunderstanding between men and women, if
Yep.
we don't cross that bridge, then you're always going to be with someone new and then it goes away, and then with someone new and it goes away. So I think if you were to talk about your fears, and I'd love to hear the ladies' comments on this, like I'm trying to hear you. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. What it sounds like is it sounds like you're telling me I'm not good enough. And it sounds like in your tone of voice or the way you're treating me, like you don't believe in me. And I
Mm-hmm.
really need you to believe in me. My husband used to say to me, it was in the first year of our marriage, he would say to me, I need to know that you know I would never wake up in the morning and think, how am I going to piss my wife off today?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, of course I don't think you're going to do that. And then he would say, I need to know that you know that I would never intentionally hurt your feelings. And I'm
Now,
like, well, I do believe, you
so
don't try to hurt my feelings, but you still do. But
so
he
I do
wanted me to say that to
I do have this question though. Like, so how do you? And this is for the people that's out there that they actually people that have been in toxic relationships their whole life. They're like their whole life. Then when you give them a healthy relationship and they don't know how to handle it,
Yeah.
how do you close that gap? Because there are a lot of people out here that don't know what a healthy relationship looks like at all.
So part of that is you got to understand the brain. Okay. So
Yep.
the fight or flight centers of the brain or the
Yep.
limbic system of the brain. The frontal lobes are reasoning, impulse control, decision making, and personality. We have to calm this for this to be able to have a voice.
Yep.
So when we're with each other, it's called repair attempts. So it's reaching over and touching the person. It's
Yeah.
reaffirming, I know you're a good person. I know your heart's in the right place. It calms this part of the brain. So the thinking, feeling part of the brain. Well, I shouldn't say the feeling. This is the feeling, but the thinking and processing and the place where I make my decisions doesn't get overwritten by the fight or flight part of my brain. So
Uh-huh.
touch, positive words, telling the person I understand, I'm listening, I care, I'm trying. And then when they do things like make you laugh, laughing with them, or noticing when they give you a compliment, that actually helps me feel better. Thank you. That means a lot to me. We have to calm this part of the brain so you can have those long standing relationships because
Mm.
people who have been in toxic relationships most of their life, this is what they know in a relationship. They know this. They don't
Yep.
know that they can be this.
Because when I was in the army, and I noticed it because I was like a strong, like alpha masculine man in charge of soldiers and leading the pack in war
Yeah.
and all this stuff. What I noticed, it's funny that you said that. What I noticed that I attracted a lot of women that were foster kids, or you know what I'm saying, they
Yeah.
grew up in the system, or whatever the case may
Yeah.
be, and they was looking for somebody like you know what I'm saying, like their father kind of figure person like to be with because they
Yeah.
they didn't have it. I'm talking about I attracted
They wanted security. They wanted that
security.
security and that strength.
Yep.
But they don't know how to interact, and you don't know how to interact in a way that gets that secure attachment. It's been so good to talk to you because I think a lot of people are going to relate to this, right? They're
Yep.
going to listen to this. They're going to want to hope that lasting love can happen. They're going to want to hope that there's loving good women and there's loving good men who will do
Uh-huh.
the real work. But what's going to get in the way all the time is this part of the brain. So if we can just calm this with
Uh-huh.
each other. So in counseling terms, that's called repair attempts, or it's called um, partner regulation. You're participating in mutual partner emotion regulation. But we also have to do our own emotion regulation. And
Uh-huh.
part of that, for me, in the first year of my marriage with my husband, is I knew he needed me to say to him, I know that you're a good man. I know you aren't doing things to hurt me on purpose. I knew he needed me to say that. But more importantly, I needed to tell myself that because he had proven it over and over and over again. He had
Hmm.
proven that he was kind and empathetic and took personal responsibility and admitted when he was wrong. And he exercised self-control for my benefit and in life. So when I told myself he was a good man, it calmed this.
Yep.
And touch and warmth. And when I say to him, I know you're a good man, and I can see that my words had an impact on him and he felt better. And then I could see that I made a difference. When you can see that your words built a bridge between us,
Uh-huh.
then what I start to remember is that I got on the other side of the problem and we were always stronger. That the problem isn't the problem. We always get on the other side of the problem.
So,
And then I don't distress.
okay, so now in between your marriages, right? So you said you was single for 4 years, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you met your now husband. So what is your ideal timeline for a healthy relationship to turn into an engagement and a marriage?
Yeah, well, so
We,
research, and some of this research might be outdated, but if you marry within 2 years of a death, divorce, or becoming, like a major trauma, you have a higher rate of divorce in those situations because it's not really coming from a clear place of what it is you're needing. And I remember one guy I met shortly after my divorce. I thought he was great. I was interested in him. It didn't go anywhere. Then I was dating my husband. I wasn't ready to be exclusive yet. I went on a date with this guy. 4 years had passed. Almost, well, not quite four, because I married my husband at 4, but 2.5, 3 years had passed. And I was like, holy cow. Like what I was attracted to and what I was interested in was so different because I'd had so much more time to heal.
yep.
And so, you increase the risk of divorce. But more importantly, I think it's important to realize that you have the trauma, then you have the rebound period. And you think, oh, I don't want to be with someone who's abusive, so I'll be with this ultra nice guy. And then that doesn't always work either, because some people who are really nice don't necessarily show empathy either. They just don't say no. And then they
Yep.
have resentments and they have all this other stuff. So they can be passive aggressively manipulative. They can be other things. You need a window of time where you just get back to who you are and what works for you. And you're not
Yeah.
trauma bonding on every date about their trauma and my trauma. A good sign of somebody who's in a better place is they can talk about their hobbies and their interests. It doesn't seem like it's very deep.
But
But again,
it's
remember,
enough. Yeah.
but it's enough and they're sharing. But for me, I became a counselor so early in my career and so early in my life that talking about deep issues meant I often attracted people who had problems and issues.
Yes.
And healthy men and women, they don't
Yep.
want to talk about all that stuff.
And with me going through to therapy and all that stuff and actually getting my mental right all this time, I noticed that I was attracting women with mental issues, or like I would talk to them and I'm like, no, I'm not out here trauma bonding. You sound like you got stuff going on. I'm not doing that.
It's
So
fun. It's supposed to be fun, not heavy.
it's supposed to be, it's not supposed to be heavy. So when I tell people this all the time, and I know people on the show heard me say this before, but I say within 24 to 36 months should be engagement, and within 48 months to close to 5 years should be a marriage, right? And
once you meet or after a divorce?
No, once you meet, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Once you meet, and I say this all the time. I say if a man does not marry you after 5 years, he's weaponizing the words "I love you."
Yeah, so, and he's got things he needs to work on. He's got things and you can't just sit back and not hold him accountable to figuring it out.
Yeah. So, and when I say that, women be like, I never heard that before. I say it's the truth. And look how many people I know. I have friends that have been in relationships 10, 11, been engaged for 10 years, and still no progression towards marriage, no progression towards building the unity together, stuff like that. So why are y'all wasting all this time together if y'all know nothing's ever going to come out of it?
One of the hardest things I had to learn, and the reason why being too nice is a problem, is that you don't fall in love because of someone else's sacrifices. The more deeply you sacrifice, the more deeply you love, period. So when you're in a relationship and you're doing all the work in the relationship and you're making it easy and you're solving all the problems and you're giving all the love, you're denying them the opportunity to sacrifice. They don't have to. You're over-functioning and they're under-functioning. And it's not your sacrifices that are going to make them love you. It's their sacrifices that are going to make them love you.
So that's why I take no issues with men having housewives and stuff like that. But I was like, but if they don't have to work for anything, then what you know what I'm saying? If they don't have to work, I take no issue with the housewives, because I mean it's a real thing, taking care of the house, the home, and all that stuff. But if they're not working for anything, that's why housewives treat so much. They looking for excitement. They sit in the house all day. They really not doing too much. and they not out sacrificing nothing. They're not gaining nothing. They're not earning nothing because they know you're going to bring it home anyway, right?
Well, and if you're not a priority to them and they've
Mm-hmm.
forgotten all about you and
Yep.
they're just taking, not giving,
Mm-hmm.
yes. But if they treat you like you matter and you're important and you're a priority
Mm-hmm.
and they care about the relationship and they care about your happiness,
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of sacrifice. Both it's empathy, but it's also sacrifice. Are they
So,
invested in your happiness?
so now I have another question for you, right? So with you doing this, as long as you've been doing this, do you feel like you're at the pinnacle of your career in relationship coaching, or is there more to go? What do you see future accomplishments for what you have going on?
I've been doing this for so long. I don't really feel like I can understand so many different issues so quickly because I've been doing it for so long. What really is my mission at this stage is to get it out to everybody. That's why I'm releasing my books. That's why I want people to know about the red flags. That's why I want them to have the techniques. It's not you, it's your technique. So the pinnacle of my career will be getting on the TV and radio programs, then podcast programs, so that more and more people know how to do this and do it effectively, because it's really not about my career anymore. It's about giving it back. And so that's the goal, and that's the reason why when I originally did my first book, it was called Want to Marry a Good Man, Here's How. And I sold it to a publisher. I got 70 cents a book, 70 cents a book.
Oh
So
yeah.
when my husband and I invested in writing more and more books, we decided to just sell it as a premium product.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. That's what we did for the last 15 years. Now it's time to give it back. So, now it's back out there. I didn't sell it to a publisher this time. I'm selling it through the Lasting Love Academy on Amazon,
Uh-huh.
but that's so that people can get it for the $21
Yep.
and they're not paying high premium prices anymore.
Yeah, I was about to say because I'm an author. I have 5 books out now. I
Yeah.
have a bunch more coming this year. So I what I did to get away from that, I started a publishing company.
Yeah.
So
Yep. That's what mine is. Lasting Love Academy.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, mine's Harto Post Publishing, and
Mm-hmm.
I get better rates when I put it on Books a Million, Barnes and Noble, Amazon.
Yeah.
I get better rates, and then I actually get my books put in stores.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been trying to get them put in airports for a minute, but that's hard.
It is hard. It is
It's
hard. But,
hard.
like Ingram Spark, I don't know if you use Ingram Spark for your distribution. Like I'm doing all those things. It releases in a month. It doesn't
Uh-huh.
release till June 15th. But that's my hope. That's my dream. That's the pinnacle, is
Mm-hmm.
when I see that more people are able to benefit from my passion for
Mm-hmm.
singles and lasting love. And I've helped thousands of singles get married.
Yeah.
Thousands. So it's
Yeah.
fun. It's really fun to get those wedding announcements and get those birth announcements and hear from them, with their Christmas cards and stuff. Like that's what I want to see. I want to see lasting love with safe relationships, both for
Have,
men and for women.
have you thought about traveling and doing seminars?
Oh, I've been doing that for decades. So I do a lot
Okay.
of public speaking,
Uh-huh.
but I want to get it out to everybody. That's the goal. So, you know,
Yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation because I think there's gonna be a lot of feedback on this conversation because there is this is the bridge and it's a drawbridge right now. It's up and there's
yeah,
a bunch of BS going underneath of it. We just need to close it down so we can walk
yeah.
across and talk to each other. And
Well,
I'm
and
telling you,
we want to, and it's really hard. I mentioned earlier going to a counselor, and the counselor wasn't really addressing the issues. You know what? I don't like to work with people till I know their story. I need to know what they've gone through. I need to know their family background. I
mm,
need to know everything, because until I know their story,
uh-huh.
I can't reach them effectively, and I can't help their partner reach them effectively. And we need to be building those bridges of understanding, and we can do that more. I mean, this has become a world of disconnection.
Yep.
In all of our connections, we're disconnected more than ever, and we lack those meaningful
I, I
connections.
say I
But
say
it's not
that
for a lack of caring.
I say that all the time. We live in a world where we have the easiest and most access to information. We are the
Mhm.
more connected than we've ever been. We have social media, we have cell phones, we have the internet, we can talk through our Siri, Alexa, all of these things, right? We are connected more than we've ever been in history, but we're disconnected more than ever, more than any other time in the history of man.
You know what I would love, Daya?
Yes.
I would love for you to have an issue with a woman, and you and I do another call, and we try to see it from each other's perspectives, right? Like I
Yep.
understand what the issue was, and I try to help you to see it from her perspective, and I try to help other people and women see it from your perspective. because almost any issue that we take, there's fears underneath it, there's needs underneath it.
Uh,
If the person has enough mental health, right, is
yep.
just normal enough, because otherwise we can get into some difficult things. If they don't have empathy,
Mm-hmm.
like I can't get people who don't have empathy to
Yep.
see it from someone else's perspective. That's if I worked with a client years ago who she had an affair on her former spouse, and then I was working with her and she was having an affair with another guy who was married and she was single. And you know what? Trying to get her to see that she had any responsibility
Mm-hmm.
and was making any kind of choices. She wasn't just getting her to see it. It was so impossible for her to own that she was making choices that were hurting other people.
I had a woman. This is when I was in the army. I had a woman cheat on me. I went home for 2 weeks for leave. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, I'll be back in a couple weeks. She cheated. I came back early to surprise her, and I caught her cheating on me. And
Yeah.
she didn't. It was all my fault that she was cheating because I was gone. I was like,
Yeah,
no,
and that
no, no,
doesn't
no,
show
no,
empathy. Yeah, that
no.
doesn't
There's
show
no empathy in
empathy.
that. I was like, how's it
There's
my fault that I went to go see my family and I come in here and you getting cracked on the sofa?
By the time a kid is around 9 months to 12 months, he sees a cat go behind the couch. The baby does. Well, he's got to be crawling for us to know. He sees a cat go behind the couch, and he'll crawl to find the couch because he knows that the cat still exists. That's something in the brain called object permanence.
Yep.
Empathy means that I have object permanence. When you're away, you still have value. Your
Yep.
feelings still matter. You still have hopes and dreams and experiences and pain that I care enough about that it changes the way I make decisions at home while you're away because
Mm-hmm.
you have object permanence to me.
Yep.
That's empathy. And if someone doesn't have that and they're blaming you because you
Yep.
were gone, they don't have object permanence.
Yep.
You're not a person in their mind who has
Yep.
feelings and needs.
Yep. See, I love this. I definitely have to have you back. Man, next time I bring you on here, I'm telling you, next time I bring you on here, I'm gonna bring a panel of people so we can
That'd be
have
great.
this conversation. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I have to have you back. So
I would love it.
yes,
I would love it. And you've been so open and vulnerable.
yes. I told you, like there's no shame in my game at all. Now,
Sorry, I'm so sick.
oh no, it's okay. It's okay because you kicked a lot of game tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, the responsibilities of all the 6 responsibilities, the
Okay,
top
we're gonna go
3.
through them real quick.
Like, man, I'm telling people.
ESP.
Yes.
ESP, empathy, self-control, personal responsibility. Yep.
Yep. Empathy, self-controls, and personal responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Write that down.
Yep. ESP. That's what we're looking for in 3 dates or less. Evidence. We need to believe that we see it for a good reason in 3 dates or less.
Okay. So that's include. What about? So let me ask you this. And okay, let me ask you this. Personal responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Personal responsibility. So let me ask you this. So should a man feel a certain kind of way if he's dating a woman that has multiple kids? That he's dating a woman that has multiple kids, but she's being stingy with intercourse. Should he feel a certain kind of way about that? Like, well, you got 2 kids already, and now you telling me that I gotta wait 90 to 120 days, going 30 dates, stuff like that. Should a man feel a certain kind of way about that?
Sometimes the fear gets in the way, right? Because the fear says this isn't fair, it doesn't make sense, I'm going to be used, or I'm going to be discarded, or I'm not important. The fear gets in the way. So we have to, help address that fear so we can see it from her perspective. So the big thing is I want to understand her. I want to understand where that's coming from. Is it for religious reasons? Is it because of trauma? Is it because she doesn't want to get too attached or she's been manipulated that way? She wants to get to know someone before. There's a book by John Van Epp called How to Avoid Marrying a Jerk. And he talks about waiting for sexual intimacy because of how that helps to protect you from jerks. Mm-hmm. And so where's it coming from? And I think the most important thing is trying to calm this so I can listen to that and I can listen to where she's coming from and then trying to help her to have this calm down so she can listen to me and really come up with win-win solutions. Because empathy, when we have empathy, there are a lot of ways we can create something that is going to work for both of us.
Yeah. I want to say, I was like, I've been watching. I was like, you just told me that you got pregnant by your ex in the backseat of a car, and you telling me I gotta wait 90 days? Get out of here.
Well, but look at this though. So it's her ex, and she had a baby. And how old is that baby? How many years has she been living with
Uh-huh.
that self-control decision, that she made. So, I mean, I see the logic. I see and one of the things I really like about you, Daya, is I'm calling, I'm coming back at you, and I'm
Yep.
pushing back, and I'm poking, and you're good with it,
Yep.
And so it's all about perspective. It's all
Yep.
about seeing where their perspective is. And she's in a different place than when she was younger. And
It's
that's
a
why she's trying to be smart.
it's a lot of women out here like
Mhm.
that. Like,
Well,
no, I gotta go. I'm like, but
let's
he
be
brought me.
honest.
He brought you McDonald's. He brought you McDonald's. Was in your house for 10 minutes. Got him something. Went home, and I gotta take you to Ruth Chris first. Like, what's going on with this?
Let's just say a few things on this though. When we're young as women, we're pretty trusting. We're
Yeah.
pretty trusting. And then because we live with those consequences,
Yeah.
from different things, we have to lead with our brains.
Yeah.
And that's why. And but when you
Yeah.
listen and you understand that a woman will feel like you care.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, but I love where you're coming from, because I see, it's fun,
Yeah.
but that's where a woman's coming from. It's serious for her. So,
Yeah. Because I'm like,
I see where you're coming from, but
yeah.
that's why we need time to understand each other.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, tell everybody where they can find you, because I love this conversation, and I have to bring you
Yeah,
back with a panel of people. I have to bring you back with
I
a
would love
panel.
it. I would love it.
Yes.
Lasting Love Academy. It's all in the name. I mean, that's really what we want. I want to teach people how to do it. And you're benefiting from my 30 years of experience, 17 as a marriage and family therapist. So I look at all of the interesting dynamics that it takes to really have lasting love. And so lastingloveacademy.com. The book, Single, It's Not You, It's Your Technique. That's the title. Alisa Goodwin Snell, Single, It's Not You, It's Your Technique, coming out next month. And there's books for men and books for women. Both talk about the 17 secrets to the male and female psychology, because we're trying to build bridges, right? It's just the male is helping with the masculine energy, because we got to get the chemistry in there. And sometimes the guys fall into the too nice trap. And the women,
There's a lot of beta males out here, and these beta males is messing up for us masculine men.
well, they don't get the excitement from the women. And so we just want to help them to know, how do you get
Yeah.
your game on a little bit better, so that you can
Yeah.
get the women to see you and value you. Because toxic women, the problem with toxic women is they're really good at seduction. And then
Yeah.
the rest of us women who are, healthy, busy, we have empathy, we care. We've got to learn how to be able to be more feminine and warm and engaging, the little things that can make a guy feel more special. And we need to touch, and we need to engage and flirt. The goal of flirting and pursuing is to make each other feel great.
That's right.
And so the book is for women. It still builds on the 17 secrets, but it helps a woman to understand why femininity matters. It helps a woman understand why touch matters, and how to do it in a way that they can respect their boundaries. And we
Mm-hmm.
talk about boundaries, the ability to say no. But boundaries sounds like it's just a wall and a stop. It's more
Yeah.
like, hey, this is where I am, and
Because
this is what I need.
yep. Because the
Can you
right
get
now,
like a push away?
yeah, but I say, because after this, without just me being observant and being out here, there's been a definite shift in the women are more masculine and the men are more feminine out here. They're looking to be taken care of instead of being in the man's place. The women out here, they've been independent so long, they feel like they don't need a man, because they've been operating in that masculine for so long.
Well, and it doesn't work very well. That's the hard part, right?
It
It just
doesn't.
doesn't work very well. We care, but we're taking over, which makes a guy feel like we're hunting him, and the guy doesn't want to feel hunted. He wants to be the hunter. So, I mean, I some women are going to say that sounds too traditional. I understand, but we got to look at what works. And if
Yep.
it still works, it works, right? Like, so there's a lot of understanding that's put into these books to help people bridge the gaps. But a book for women, a book for men, and then going to lastingloveacademy.com. Two, as the book gets closer to release, I'm going to be doing 30-day challenges to help people get more dates, get more chemistry, and more mutual investment. So that's the secondary title, Single, It's Not You, It's Your Technique. Get more dates, chemistry, and mutual investment. So there'll be a 30-day challenge. If you go to lastingloveacademy.com, you can participate in the 30-day challenge, where you'll have experiences with me. Plus, I offer videos to go along with all of the techniques in the books, and audio versions of the book, but only through lastingloveacademy.com.
And I'm telling you, I'm going to bring you back on here. We're going to have a panel, and I'm definitely going to purchase the book. And I'm talking about as soon as the book comes out, I'm going to be looking for it.
I'll send you my author copies now.
Ah,
Seriously, like
yes.
I'll send them to you. So I'll get your address and I'll send them to you. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what, I've got some. I'll even release some, and you can give them out as a prize
Yeah,
to
oh yes,
people
yes
on your
indeed.
site.
And I read almost 100 books a year. So this
Oh,
is right up.
amazing.
Yeah. So this
That's
is right
amazing.
up in my wheelhouse.
Okay. You know what? I'll send you that. And I've got a couple of other ones because we're updating the Red Flags and Toxic People book. That's going to be released later this year. So I'll send you some of those too. But yeah, let's totally do that. And if you want to do a giveaway, I'll send you a ton of books and
Come
just
on.
to share with your readers, share with your
Yes,
audience.
I am with it. Man, thank you so much for coming on
You're so
tonight.
welcome.
And I definitely have to bring you back. I'm going to bring you back, and I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to bring some of the most toxic people I know, the worst relationships. I'm going to bring some of the people in the worst relationships I know, and I just want to see you work your magic with them.
I'm up for the challenge. All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Yes, we definitely have to get you back in the schedule. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on so much. Thank you. Now it's time for me
Thank
to get
you.
this show
You are
rolling.
so awesome. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Take
Yes,
care, y'all.
I appreciate you.
Okay, take care.
Ooh, that was awesome. Listen, if y'all did not pay attention to anything tonight, remember ESP, empathy, self-control, personal responsibility. ESP, I'm going to keep that with me because yeah, we touched on a lot of things, and she is so experienced with the relationships, and I'm glad that people like her are helping single people out because man, that was a lot of good information. Great information. Great information. I can't wait to release this episode. Everybody that watches and tuned in, trust me, you're going to want to comment on this one. Goodness, watch that great episode tonight. This was a fire episode tonight. Goodness gracious. Yes, yes, yes. All right, y'all. So we're going to move on to community events. All right. Damn, that was a good show. Great show. All right. So community event this Saturday, May 16th, right? May 16th. Pancake and Booze. Now, usually they do it during the day at Hook Hall, but I gave y'all the wrong information last week. It's actually at Penn Social, 801 East Street Northwest, May 16th from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. I don't know what this is going to turn into, but I know before it was classy, artsy, stuff like that. Now they moved it from Hook Hall to Penn Social, meaning the crowd is going to be bigger. All right, so I'm gonna be out there selling books and stuff like that. It's not gonna be no loud DJs and all that stuff, but it's gonna be food and mimosas, and you know what I'm saying, and a good time. All right, so y'all make sure y'all come on out to Pancake and Booze this Saturday at Penn Social. All right, Pancake and Booze. Dang, that was a good show. All right, so read of the week. Y'all know what the read of the week is. Masters, the story of Elmer. Masters, the story of Elmer. Right? Read of the week. It's Masters, the story of Elmer, right? It's my newest release book. If you don't know about it, there have been people out here been leaving comments, buying my book, been reading it. Man, I've been getting excellent reviews on this book, right? Thanks everybody that's been supporting me on this journey. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The Read of the Week, Masters, the Story of Elmer, is available everywhere. It's available Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever you can buy books, you can get it. It's there. All right. I really, really, really appreciate everybody that's been supporting me on this journey. All right. Appreciate y'all. Boom, 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 boom. Yes. So make sure y'all go ahead and get that Masters. And then my other books are still on there as well. As I Stand Corrected, Betrayal of the Black Bastard still on there. The Grand Scheme of Life, Obama's Journey, it's all in there. All you gotta do is type in Dahlia Shakur books and it pops up. It's still there. You know what I mean? Tearful Joys, Cletus Dean Bucks, man, Top Tier Toxicity. Yeah, buddy. Go check me out. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Now, it's time to get to everybody's favorite segment. Everybody's favorite segment. Bow, bow, bow. Man, listen. Sometimes I don't understand why people do this. I don't understand why people give me so much leverage over them. But they give me the opportunity to speak, right? So, Mother's Day. Mother's Day is supposed to be a day of caring, to give thanks to our mothers, grandmothers, aunts, sisters. You know what I'm saying? The women in our life we love, baby mamas, wives, ex-wives. You know what I'm saying? Neighbors, women that you know, prostitutes, strippers. If they got kids, they have a day they are all celebrated. Besides Valentine's Day and their birthday, right? It's Mother's Day. It is Mother's Day. Everybody's having a good time. You know, Mother's Day, Father's Day, only thing we get is we get shorts from Walmart and we get pushed a bunch of food to barbecue on Father's Day, right? That's what we get. The women, they get 5-course meals, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Now, on this particular Mother's Day, the grandmother said, hey, I want y'all to cook for me today. I'm gonna go to the grocery store. So they fucked up right then and there. Why did they send grandma to the grocery store on Mother's Day? You lazy bastards in that house should have went to the store. Y'all should have brought food to the crib. Right? Because all of this that happened with this crazy mother disrespecting ass nigga could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. Man, it could have been avoided, right? My boy did not play at all. It could have been avoided, right? So, grandma says, and by the way, he's a Florida man. I don't know what's been going on in Florida. The heat must be up down there in Florida. Heat must be up, right? So we live in a world where people are dropping like flies. People are, our elders, the women elders, and they're dropping like flies. So we have to respect them while they're here. In this case, my boy said, no, fuck that. Fuck her. Fuck Mother's Day. Fuck the women in this house. Fuck y'all. Fuck Mother's Day. Today is my day. Right? So what my boy does while he's sitting in the house, chilling, right? They say, hey, grandma's back with the groceries. And I don't think this man needs to be on the street. I don't think he needs to see the light of day ever again in his life. Just to put that out there. Shout out to all the mothers. But I don't think he needs to see light of day ever again. If the family think he needs to, y'all niggas need to sit with him. His friends need to sit with him. 29-year-old man from West Palm Beach. Sir. So grandma get back with the groceries. He a 29-year-old man. Look like he's in shape. Got a little size to him. Hey, I need y'all help with the groceries. Come on here and help me with the groceries. He said, fuck that. I ain't getting up. I ain't grabbing no groceries. Fuck them groceries and fuck you too. Fuck everybody in his house. Y'all go get these groceries. I'm not going. So guess what he does? She's like, grandma come in Big Mama's house. Get your ass up and come and help with these groceries. Right? What'd he do? Fuck y'all. I'm not going to get these groceries. Fuck them groceries. This is Mother's Day. Y'all ain't broke. Y'all ain't hurt. Y'all able-bodied. So are you, young man. So are you. He was pissed off enough. He's pissed off enough on Mother's Day. Instead of going out and helping to get the groceries, he goes outside. And he's the grandson, by the way. He's the grandson. He is the grandson. So evidently there were no men in his life. Evidently. House full of women, emotional, pussy, like a lot of these young boys out here, they ain't got no men in their life. Emotional, doing dumb shit. right? He gonna find out about the men once he get in jail. So my boy goes to the night, goes to the kitchen, gets the knife and say, somebody gonna die today. I don't know who the fuck it is, but somebody's gonna die today. I don't give a fuck who it is, but somebody going to die today. They said, man, put that goddamn knife down and come get the groceries. Grandma come in the kitchen. She put the groceries down and said, get your ass outside and help with the groceries. He looked at her sideways and started jamming his grandmother up with the knife. Stabbed his grandmother 11 times on Mother's Day. Stabbed the grandmother 11 times on Mother's Day because he didn't want to help bring no fucking groceries in. What kind of sick, sadistic, woman-hating ass nigga is this? 29-year-old man from Florida. I don't know, but this must be something in the fucking water down there. Wow. And how? So, stabbed her up. They ran out the house. Called 911. Police come. Right? He leaves the house and run. He walked, like, literally, his cousin walked in the house and seen him stabbing the grandmother when he walked in. And he went chasing after the cousin. Somebody about to die. Grandma looked like she got enough. It's your turn. Start chasing the cousin. Couldn't catch the cousin. Cousin would have wheels, right? Grandma in the house bleeding out on Mother's Day. Cousin is running for his life. People, the neighbors see it. Neighbors call the police. Police come, damn near about to kill his ass, right? The ambulance come. The grandmother, with her, this is gonna be her most memorable Mother's Day ever. She's in ICU, recovering still from the wounds. She's still alive. She didn't die. She did not die. And I'm glad that she did not die. But you, sir, are going to go to a place because he's being held without bond right now for attempted murder and aggravated battery. Attempted murder on his grandmother on Mother's Day. When you get to jail, there's going to be a whole lot of attempted murder on your butt pussy because them niggas about to be wearing your ass out. You think you know something about knives now? Wait till you get in the motherfucking penitentiary, right? Shanks galore. You think it's cool to abuse your mom? You know what battery feel like? I hope you can fight. They're gonna be in there beating your ass. Shanks, butt pussy getting beat up and back and getting your bitch ass beat up for doing this shit to the goddamn grandmother on Mother's Day. So now he's being held without bond, right? And the word of the day is sweat equity. So West Palm Beach is about to get a whole bunch of sweat equity out of this man. Sweat equity. They locked him up, being held with no bond. He's gonna sit in jail. I hope this guy never comes home. I hope he never sees another Mother's Day ever. I hope he never sees another woman ever. I hope he gets the help that he needs. But over some motherfucking groceries, he stabbed his grandmother 11 times. Sir, you are going where you belong, and I hope you never see the light of day again. For that, 29-year-old West Palm Beach man, Keo Nottage, you are getting dumbass of the week. Fuck is you talking about, fucking stupid? Stabbing your grandmother up, my nigga? Your grandmother? You better be lucky I wasn't there. I would have popped a hole in your goddamn ass. What the fuck wrong with you? Stabbing grandma up like that. All of us that lost grandmas and you treating yours like this. Don't worry about it though. You gonna get a treatment when you get in there. And with that warden said to old buddy, he's a nice young man, 29 years old. Attempted murder. You gonna do about like 20 years in Florida. They're gonna get a lot of sweat equity out your ass. Sweat equity. They're gonna put you to work. I hope you enjoy it. I hope your bunkmate enjoys you. And I hope everybody that's on that cell block get a little piece of that action. Or you stabbing grandma up over some fucking groceries. Keo Nottage. You're getting dumbass of the week. Fuck is you talking about, fucking stupid? I can't believe you. God damn. Y'all make this shit easier and easier every week. Especially, I don't know what's going on in Florida right now. It gotta be the motherfucking water. It gotta be the water. Man, it gotta be the water. Shit, man. But tonight was a brilliant show. Man, listen, I have to bring her back. And I'm looking for people in the crowd to come on. If you listen, and or you watch and you want to come on the show to be on a panel discussion to talk with her, I'm preferably gonna be looking for people that are couples. If you would like to come on the show, leave a comment, let me know something, and we'll be good to go. All right. Because I firmly believe that she can help. She sounds like she knew what the hell she was talking about. You heard me? Now, with that being said, next week I have an author coming on from H-Town, from the H. I'm glad that everybody's been supporting me and watching and tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank y'all so much. And until next week, let's get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Sweat equity.